So hello everyone and welcome to the Homeroom Lending Podcast. Today I'm joined by my co-host Kim Fontanez.
Hi.
And our special guest, Jackie.
Hi.
Jackie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am a real estate agent. I work in Stony Brook. My office is in Stony Brook, but I service really all over Long Island, but I would say mostly in that area. Stony Brook, Setauket, Port Jeff, a little northeast is usually my specialty area.
Okay.
That's your neck of the woods, so to speak.
Yeah.
So what made you get into the industry? What's the why of what you do? I know it's a tough one, but the why.
Right? No, I really do love it. I've always been in sales, so I love business and sales, and I love people and helping people. And I mean, when it comes to buying a house, this is people's largest asset usually that they're going to purchase or sell in their lifetime. And to be a part of that is really nice. It's an amazing thing to help out with something like that.
Yeah, it just feels good, right? Like it's like I feel like I've had other jobs, I've done other types of businesses, and by far this is like for me the most fulfilling in the sense that you get to help people buy their first home more often than not. With it's the American dream, right? You're helping them accomplish it, but it's more than that, right? There's families involved. There's a lot of money involved, right? Down payment.
Especially these days. Oh my gosh, a lot of money.
Right?
A lot of money involved.
Really
Unfortunately,
I know.
So what have been some of the things, some of the experiences you'd like to tell us about? Like, what's your take on this recent market? What do you see the real estate market heading? What's going on?
It's funny because a lot of people are questioning if we're in a bubble and if the market is going to crash soon.
Yes.
And if you ask me, I would say it's not happening anytime soon. I mean, just...
We agree.
Yes.
It's like you got to just do the math. You know, inventory is still at a historic low. Buyer demand is still extremely high. Interest rates, although they're climbing up slightly, they are still very low, as you guys know. Yeah. So the demand is just so high, and there's not enough inventory out there. So
that's all I hear.
Supply demand. That's really what drives the market.
There's especially millennials. There's so many millennials that are saving their money. They're still at home, just waiting to pounce on a house.
Exactly.
Rent has gone up, so no one wants to rent anymore. Yeah,
it's harder to rent now.
Yeah, it actually is more expensive to rent than it is to own a home right now. It really is.
I mean, we've been finding that we've had clients ask us to run their credit and things like that just for rental. Let's say like people that we've come across, they maybe don't qualify for a house yet, and they have to rent, and they've realized that it's harder to rent in the sense of more money, but then more requirements.
More money, more requirements, and you're not even gaining equity.
Exactly.
Right, you're paying more money for something that you don't even get to keep at the end of it.
No, you're just paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's tough to buy a house right now, but I would recommend to everyone, save your money if you can. If you have the luxury of still living at home, or you have like a low-income rental situation, save your money and wait until you can really purchase that home, because it's going to be better in the long run.
I agree.
Sacred chakra wisdom words. Yes, you definitely. That's the key. I mean, you have to be disciplined. You have to get organized, and it's not like back in the day. Like, well, the rents are so cheap.
Right.
It's like people that actually, believe it or not, if let's say you had a roommate and or two roommates and you're paying rent. It wasn't really that bad back then, but now it's like a room. It's like $800, $1,000 just for one room.
You're sharing
plus
the kitchen.
utilities.
House,
Bathroom. It's like bathroom sharing.
I know, we were just talking about bathrooms. It's so funny.
Bathroom sharing in my house.
That alone is a reason why to buy a house.
Kids and husband, forget it.
Seriously, I know.
Yeah,
it's funny.
that is funny.
So, how did you get started in the business? What
I mean, it's funny because if you're interested in real estate, I would say to everyone who's interested in real estate, you're going to spend money and work your butt off before you start making money, and you have to just be accepting of that going into it. I, luckily enough, started with friends and family who would just reach out to me. Hey, I know you're in real estate. So I would say for me, it started with friends and family.
But how did they know you were in real estate?
Social media for me is huge.
There you go.
Huge. So, you have to promote yourself. And I know it's annoying telling everyone, hey, I'm a real estate agent, but it's the only way to let people know. You have to just put yourself out there and not really care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. Right, exactly. That's what it is.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It's, and you have to get used to it. in the beginning, it's very uncomfortable, as we know, right?
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And but then you get used to it, and it is what it is. And we're putting a service out there.
I recommending starting with someone who has been in the business for a while. So for me, I paid my dues a little bit when I first got into the business. I partnered with someone who's been in it for 30 plus years. She's a top producer, sells over $15 million of real estate a year. Yeah, and she now works on solely referrals. She doesn't even go out and look for business anymore.
Right.
It all comes to her. So, you have to do some open houses for free, learn the business and get the full experience so that once you are on your own, you're not just a real estate agent, you're an advisor for your clients.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And that's the key, and that's the kind of that's what we've been talking about all day. Is that I mean, not in our level, right? We're not fiduciaries, but we should act as fiduciaries when we're working with our clients. I mean, because it's a big deal. There's a lot of money at stake, like we said before, and there is always, you always have the opportunity to do the right thing and then grow your business from there.
Well, that's like, with real estate and even with you guys, reputation is how you keep clients and how you get new clients. You have to just stay in constant communication and really show your clients that you know what you're doing and you have their best interests at heart.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the key. Like our motto here is that we're all about being transparent. I mean, when we have a client, we actually sit them in front of the computer. We explain everything to them. The difference between FHA, conventional, non-qualified mortgage, reverse mortgages. We go over everything to make sure.
Which is great because, again, especially for first-time home buyers,
exactly.
they have no idea what any of what you just said even
exactly.
is.
Right? Right.
So, in order for them to trust you, they have to feel comfortable. And the only way they'll feel comfortable is if they understand the process of what's happening.
Exactly.
So that's great that you guys do that.
Yeah, it's important, and just so they know, I mean, we don't want them to sign anything unless they are, knowing what they are signing. It's sad, a lot of people, I mean, I've been doing this for so long. Back in the day, people would go to a closing and the interest rate was different than,
what they agreed on already.
I know in my head, I always said I would never do that. I would make sure, exactly what I say is exactly what you're getting.
It hurts the client. It makes them upset with you.
Right.
Again,
you're not getting a referral.
No, that's the thing. It all comes back to reputation. To me, at least for myself, referrals is like the growth of business.
Right.
Yes, definitely.
You start slow and word of mouth just kind of sparks from there based on how you do business.
Yeah, I gotta say, I remember in the beginning when I started, I just didn't even think that referrals would come.
I know.
It's just something like, I don't know what it is. It's just, and then all of a sudden, a couple of years in the business, I mean, I got referrals in the back, but then all of a sudden, you do get referrals out of nowhere. People that you've spoken to that you don't remember.
Yeah.
That, who knows how long you spoke to them or whatever case. But they come back and they're like, hey, I know someone. I was just dealing with someone the other day, Israel. This guy just, I don't know, just gives me a call because he spoke to someone that I closed on a house, and I don't even remember the person that I did so long ago. I should follow up with them.
That's another huge thing is follow-up.
Follow. This business, it's all about follow-up. You have to be like a follow-up maniac. Phone. Yeah, you have to be in a good way. I mean, you can't harass people, but you got to be systematically, approaching people in a way where they feel like you're not being pushy, but that you're there for them.
There's ways to do it. Even with clients of mine who just purchased a house last year, you bet that I have their year anniversary of when they bought their house marked in my calendar. So once that year comes, they're getting a nice little gift from me in the mail. Right. It's just something, you have to just keep your name out there, have them remember you, how great you were. Right. And if they know someone who needs to sell or buy a house, they're most likely going to say your name.
Yeah, it's key. It's key, and I'm sure you've had a lot of good experiences like that where people are constantly calling you, right? Like,
I mean, it's just yesterday, literally yesterday, I got a phone call from someone who I worked with 10 years ago in a past job. She actually, I'm not going to say the real estate firm, but she works at a different real estate firm in the marketing department. Her friend is looking to buy a house with her fiance, and rather than go to an agent in her own firm,
Aw, see?
she reached out to me and a competing broker.
Wow.
Competing broker.
Yeah.
And now I have a new buyer client.
Right.
So again, it
says a
feels
lot.
good. Yeah,
It does say a lot.
It's just all about how you do business. Your reputation will build naturally based on the work you put into it.
It's so true. It really is. I mean, I have underwriters that give us loans, and they can give a loan to anybody.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
but they know that their clients are taken care of.
Exactly.
So it's important.
That's key because
It
the
really
business
is.
lends itself to do a lot of bad things. People could get taken advantage so easily in this business.
I know.
on both
It's
sides.
very sad.
It is.
On every side, I feel like,
yeah.
and it's
Every part of it.
Yeah, and it's usually the people that get taken advantage of, or the people that are the people that can really help themselves the least, right? The people that
So true.
and that's why I
It's
feel
so
like the
horrible.
low praying, the low hanging fruit for a lot of people
Yeah.
to take advantage. And this is why, by the way, this is why we're doing the podcast, right? One of the main reasons is because we want to make sure that if we're going to promote people, we're going to promote people that are out there doing the right thing.
Of course.
That have the same mindset, same vibe, so to speak, right? That are looking to help the clients, not get rich overnight, and build a long-term
Right.
career.
Right.
That's what you said is such a key thing, especially again in this market. You have to go into it knowing, sure, if you're a listing agent, you're on the seller side.
Right.
You're making your money in two
No
and
matter
a
what,
half
right?
months, right? Everything
Right.
is selling like this.
Exactly.
But if you're working with buyers, which again, there are mostly buyers out there right now,
yeah.
not sellers. You have to go into it saying it could take 8-9 months before we actually find them this house, only because of
you're-
how low inventory is right
Right.
now.
Right,
So you're out showing
You're
them
out, you're driving
houses.
around,
Yes.
and again, you have to put in the work. Yeah, you're essentially working for free, driving around.
Yes.
And showing all of these houses. I mean, you'll do 125 showings for one client
Right.
before they find that house, but it's worth it in the end every single time.
Definitely
See,
is.
that's something I don't hear a lot of real estate agents say. But you have the right expectations.
Yeah, you have to go into it that way.
Yeah, like withstanding the time frame, the possibility of not closing, knowing that potentially every second that you spend with that client may not monetize in that particular transaction. Excuse me, but you know that whatever you're investing there, you're investing for yourself.
Of course.
Number one, right? Because the experience, the relationship, and so forth. And from there, it grows. But a lot
Right.
of people get into the business and they think, listen, not everybody thinks they're going to get rich overnight.
Right.
But they're trying to. Right? They're
Right.
trying to.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not. And they're not seeing the bigger picture.
And a lot of them say, "Oh, I don't want to go out and show buyers. I
Oh,
want to just be a
goodness.
listing agent."
Who gets into the
I mean,
business?
I
I've heard
can't
that.
tell you
How-
how many times I've heard
What
that.
is
And
that?
it's usually from the very, very seasoned agents
Yes.
who have
Oh.
been doing this for 20 plus years.
But then you see the younger ones kind of
The new
copying
ones.
that, right? Like kind of
Right.
like emulating that a little bit, and they're just they're
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's a little bit of
Yeah.
like of arrogance there. Like
is.
it's like I'm not too good. I'm too good to work with buyers.
Yes.
Buyers are
Which is
horrible.
so
Buyers
Buyers
are
silly.
buyers. How many times I've
Buyers
heard
are
that?
great.
Yeah, buyers are great.
Buyers are great.
I mean, they're the majority
you
of
need
our
them.
business right
Right.
now. There's
Absolutely.
way more buyers out there than there are sellers right now. So people should start learning to work with buyers a little bit more. Although for
Exactly.
me, I guess it's good that they don't.
Exactly. No, it's good.
You know,
'cause it's a
I'll take all
mindset.
of
It's
that.
the way you look at things. The way you see it is that, I mean, most people that I've spoken to, real estate agents, they don't have the 8-9 month expectation, 8-9 months expectation where they're saying, all right, this could potentially be that way.
Right.
They're saying it as like, look, it's 4 months, 6 months, I haven't bought anything, I'm moving on.
Right.
Right.
But you're going in knowing that at least that's a possibility, but
Yeah.
you
You have
you
to
factor that
be.
into your pipeline in your business.
That's right.
You have to. And you
Otherwise-
have to, you have to deliver that message to the buyers too. You can't let them think like, oh, okay, in 3 to 5 months, I'm definitely getting a house. You might,
Right.
but
If
you
you're
might
lucky.
not.
You got some buyers that they start looking one day and the next day they find a house. I'm not going to point any
Yeah.
people,
The
but
lucky guy.
Yeah.
yeah, over there,
Exactly.
producer Steve,
Yeah.
my son, he's got multiple houses. This guy gets into the business. You don't even see him coming. He's like,
Exactly.
he's-
It's like
he's-
boom, boom, boom.
He's making
It's
real
done.
estate deals.
Good for you. Hey, if you can make
Right?
it happen, it works.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I'm still shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know who they.
I don't know who they know.
They helped or killed.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah, that has to be the fastest.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, definitely, but that's good.
Yeah. So Jackie, I wanted to ask you, what's your what's your process, right? You sit down with a client, what are the steps that you take them through in order to make them feel like, they're part of the team, you guys are on board, moving forward. What's that look like?
It depends on, it's a little different if they're a seller or a buyer.
Right.
If they're a seller, I'm meeting with them already having their comps in my hand. I'm going into it prepared, saying based on where you live, how, the little details of your home, this is what your home is worth.
Right.
If it's a buyer, it's a lot different. It's first, are you pre-approved? Because we can barely even get you an appointment these days unless we submit the pre-approval with it.
Right.
So first thing, again, you are walking them through the process. They have to be pre-approved. They have to let me know what areas they're looking in, why. Do they want a basement? Do they want a backyard? What's most important to them? And then, in this market, I do say to them, you have to really prioritize. Yeah. I can't tell you how many buyers they start and they're like, well, I definitely need a pool. I definitely need a finished basement.
Right. You're not going to get it all.
No, there's just not enough out there right now. So I explain to my buyers, as we start visiting homes, you'll actually learn more about what's really a priority to you. Right. And I'll learn that about you as well, and it'll only help us really find you the perfect home.
Yeah,
makes
definitely.
sense. A good way to position it.
Yeah, a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have heard the phrase "buyers are liars." I hate that phrase.
I just said before,
it's not true. It's just they don't realize.
I don't like the phrase because we're all loan officers, so it's kind of like.
It's horrible and it's so not true. They're not liars. They just don't realize yet what they really want and what they like until you take them to a few homes.
Right. They have no perspective.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. That makes total sense.
And they don't know, like that, if they start looking at a house with you, and then they go to another realtor because, you might have a listing agent that they call instead of calling you. They don't realize, they have to learn these things, that,
of course,
that they should have somebody representing them.
Another thing I love explaining to buyers, just to piggyback off of that, a lot of buyers don't realize it costs them $0 to have a realtor.
Right.
I'm like, why on earth wouldn't you hire a real estate agent? Right. It costs you nothing. We get paid by the seller at the end of the deal. And a lot of buyers just don't even realize that because they haven't done this before, and they think, oh my gosh, if I have a real estate agent working for me, I'm going to be the one that has to pay them their commission, and it's just not true.
Folks, just listen to that. It's a recurring theme. Yeah,
it is. We keep saying it, over and over again because they don't know, and that's why we're here.
Right.
To just let them know.
They don't know, and like you said, that the buyer doesn't pay any of that. I mean, are there times where there could be a sell between the owner and the buyer? Yeah,
absolutely.
There's different.
It
happens, but I wouldn't recommend it. Number one, to start looking. It's just something if you know someone, and someone knows someone. But if you're going out there by yourself.
And they will learn quickly, believe me. I've had people that start by themselves going to open houses, and then they call me really quick. And they're like, I think I actually need your assistance. I can't do this on my own. Because there's too much involved. I mean, it sounds easy enough to go and look at the houses.
And make an offer.
But that's the thing. They don't know how to write an offer. They don't know that you need to submit a pre-approval. What you need to do to make your offer stand out better than others. They don't know. So you really do need a real estate agent to help you through the process. It's a big deal. It's a lot of money that you're spending.
It makes, and it's never, it's a no-brainer.
And you have their best interest at heart. So,
exactly.
Yeah, you're representing them. That's they're going in there with no representation. You wouldn't go to your court date without an attorney. I mean, I guess you could, but it's not going to end up well.
That's such a great analogy. It's so true.
How are you going to show up like that? It's you're going to get your butt handed to you. If you don't do the right, if you don't, prepare yourself and have the right people behind you.
And the same goes for sellers. You should not do it for sale by owner. The FSBOs.
Oh, goodness.
I don't hate you guys, but I don't love you either.
The FSBO's a whole different beast, yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, it's just, especially now.
They have their reason. I mean, they would save money.
They would save money, but you know, you know what? They think they would save money, but no, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
Because they don't know how to list their house and sell it and market it the proper way. You know, I mean, first of all, it's not going on MLS if you're selling it by yourself, which I know all consumers tend to go to Zillow to look at houses. But if you're a real estate agent and you're looking to get your client into a house, we're not looking on Zillow. We're looking on MLS.
Exactly.
If you're a for sale by owner, your house is not getting listed on MLS. You're most likely not getting professional photos taken, which, by the way, I pay for that. I take that out of my commission. So they're not spending money on nice professional photography. I pay for all my own marketing to market their house. So it just benefits everybody involved, whether you're purchasing or selling. Get yourself a real estate agent.
Yes.
Seriously.
It's a more hands-on approach, like when you're because you're your own business. So when a client's working with you, they get all your attention. You know, it's like they get 100% of your knowledge,
right?
Which is priceless. Right? I mean, if you put in your life, your sweat and tears into getting to this point, it's not easy doing this business.
No, it takes a lot to start. You know, like thankfully I'm at a place now where I'm very happy with where my business is, and it is only growing from here. But it wasn't like that in the beginning. Nobody starts like that, and you have to just understand that going into it if you're looking to be a real estate agent.
Right.
Yeah. And the ones that do, they realize it soon enough that it doesn't keep working. Like you can get lucky, you know, in the beginning. Sometimes you can get lucky.
Yeah. And there's sometimes it's one after the other. Sometimes there's lulls.
We know that.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, it's the same for you. You know how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, we pre-approve people. We'll try to, do so much, and then they don't qualify. So we're doing the same thing.
Right.
We're trying to, work on them and get their credit. We have clients that we work for like 8-9 months trying to get them ready.
Yeah.
Just to get them ready.
But that's such a big part of it.
Right. Then
that's another potentially 8 months that they could be out there.
Yeah. But that's such a large part of it is really getting them set up and getting them ready.
And doing it the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I think that we do a really good job at that.
Me too.
That we prep the clients. We explain to them maybe a little too much. It's one of those things where like maybe I shouldn't get into the difference between MIP and PMI.
I know.
Right? It's like, so out there, folks, so mortgage insurance premium, that's for an FHA loan. Conventional, it's PMI, private mortgage insurance. So it's both insurance, but they don't need to know the difference so in detail when you're explaining that. But as long as they know that there's insurance and the breakdown.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that when they offer 10% or less, they have to take out something like PMI. You have to explain all of this to people, which again is why I just recommend if you can do it, 20% or more is the ideal. If you can do it, save your money and really get yourself prepared.
Yeah. Have you done any? Have you worked with any clients that have done non-qualified mortgages?
I haven't, but I've worked with clients that thought that they could afford a house in this market and learned very quickly they couldn't. And then I'll redirect them to something like a condo.
Oh, okay.
So I've had clients like that where their budget is in like the $300,000, $350,000 range, which right now there's almost no houses out there at that price. If there are, they're getting snatched up by all cash investors who are going to flip that house and sell it for $100,000 plus more. So again, you have to figure out what your client is ready for. It might not always be a house, even though they think it is. You have to just redirect them where it's going to work for them.
It's funny you say that because we've had we have clients that they only qualify for like 300, 350. Usually, what we do at that point is that we look into doing a home ready program. Have you heard of Home Ready?
I haven't.
Okay, so essentially Home Ready is just that when you find a house, right, that has a finished basement, it has to have a kitchen, right, so sink, cabinets, refrigerator, stove, and it has to have a bathroom, and it has to have a separate entrance, and potentially if the windows in that basement are not a good size for someone to get out, it has to have a recessed window, an egress window. Egress. And so that's a requirement for we can collect rental income from that basement to qualify them for the loan. So in your area, like mother-daughters, there's a lot of mother-daughters in there.
Especially in Stony Brook.
Yeah.
Stony Brook, so their Home Ready's even better for a mother-daughter because we can collect rental income, one family,
Right.
and collect rental income to complete that picture. So let's say
That's
at
great.
300.
It doesn't have to be a legal
Yeah.
two-family. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You know,
great.
it's a
That's
great
something great
program.
for, again, new home buyers especially
Yeah.
to know.
And what's really cool is that so you get that additional rental income, right? That offset or gives you additional income. If you're a business owner, then you could offset the income, right? You go
Right.
cut down some of the taxes or some of the what you're going to show in your taxes and make up the difference that way. And then you also get a slightly better rate and better PMI.
That's great.
So that's a great program. Anytime you have someone that's in the 350s, the reason why I'm saying that number is because once you
the
get into the
income.
400,
Right.
425, there's an income limit of 79,700, I believe it is. Now they changed it up to a few $1,000s. That's a great program for people to get in. And this is for everybody. You could be rich, you could be poor, you could be, you can have millions of dollars. You can still, it doesn't
Right.
matter. You can take
Just
advantage.
based on your income.
Right, right.
Yeah, well, what you report.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
Report.
So
Exactly.
it's a great program. So
Yes.
yeah, where like in those areas, somebody's
Yeah.
falls short. There you go, home ready. That's something that we talk to clients all the time,
time.
especially business owners, so they can, at the very least, if we could save them $15,000 in what they need to report.
Absolutely. Who doesn't want to save money right
Yeah.
now with inflation and
Yeah.
everything happening? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere you can save money is huge.
And
Yeah.
non-QM is good for people that don't show all their money. They make the money,
Right.
but they don't show all their money.
Right. Yeah, we do no income. We do stated income, debt service. I mean, one of my favorite ones is debt service. Is that
service.
as long as the rental income, the best way to describe it is $1 more than the mortgage, then you
Uh-huh.
qualify with your 20%. Depending on your credit, 25%.
That's great.
Yeah, it's those are. I mean, those.
There's
by
so
the way,
many programs now that people don't know. They're all
just don't
coming
know about
back.
it, yeah,
I know.
Yeah. I mean, they're not like they used to be.
No.
They're looked at
They're
much more
stringent.
rigid. Yeah,
Very stringent.
very
but
tight.
they're
on,
good.
Yeah, because you have to have really good credit. I mean, the minimum you're really looking at is 680.
Right. For the like
Yeah.
no income.
For the no
stated.
income,
Right,
where you're putting
right.
down 25% down, and then if you want the 80/20, it's really going to be 720 and higher.
Right.
But as long as you have the cash, you have the good credit,
Right.
you can get in.
Right.
That's,
Yeah, credit is important.
Oh goodness, yeah. And that's the thing, like it's not
It's
like
very important.
it's not like back in the day where now like these like you mentioned before, like the market is it's stable. There's a foundation there.
Yes.
No pun intended, right? But there's a foundation in our market right now, in the real estate market, where there's all these investors, outside investors coming in, non-qualified. Oh, you got the real estate guys too.
Yeah,
But then you have
yeah.
you have the other investors, the mortgage investors, like the bankers that are these independent bankers,
Right.
People that are investing in lending their money through these non-qualified mortgages, right? So it's a whole different world. This was not available years ago.
No.
And now it's back, but in a more, like Kim said, more stringent, more, I guess, regulated, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
oversight is way
Which
more.
is good because years
It is
ago, back in like 2008, people were taking out mortgages with their dog's name on it.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's a little
They're
more
hamstering.
regulated now. My
And, a lot
goodness.
of people are like, oh, they're coming back, and they shouldn't be coming back. But
Yeah,
you know
right
what?
away, people get very nervous, and the
Exactly.
market's gonna
Right,
collapse. and
because
it's
now they're doing these stated loans, and
it's like, what the heck are you guys talking about?
in reality, they're actually good for people that don't show their money. I mean, how many
Yeah.
people that just do write-offs?
It's
I mean,
ironic. It's ironic.
it's-
You have better buyers
Yeah.
because they have, let's say, they have a business and they're making $300,000 and they're only showing 50,000, but they have more cash than the
Right.
person that's W-2.
And in a
Exactly.
world
It's
where
like-
crypto is growing, when it comes to
Yes.
real estate, cash is king.
right.
Okay.
It really is. I mean, I can't tell you how many offers I've had that are higher than the all cash offer, but almost every time we go with the all cash offer.
Got it. Right.
Because it's better on the seller. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who
Peace of
doesn't
mind.
want to get, everything is done. They don't have to think about it.
Exactly. There's no problems.
No.
Yeah. No,
No,
I-
you're not
Anything
worrying
could-
about appraisal.
Right. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah, the value comes in or not. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the tough part.
I know. I mean,
But,
appraisal, I would say, and I don't know how you guys feel with your experience, but For me, appraisal and inspections are like the two biggest deal killers.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely. You know, for you more with the inspections,
right.
Because usually that's done prior to, and then we get it, and then the appraisal. You know, but we've been pretty good. I mean, you know, values are out there. So
well, they're
we
higher
had,
now, which is good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
now that we haven't had any issues with that. You
Yeah.
know, but back in the day,
I know.
many issues.
Yeah.
Now it's over. Usually, it's,
and you know, I did reverse mortgages. You ever do a reverse mortgage?
I haven't myself, no, but I know what it is.
Yeah, so I've done that for a lot of people. So like any seniors that are looking to buy a house,
right?
We could do a purchase and a reverse, which is really really good. People don't know that
Especially
you can do a
for
purchase.
the seniors.
Yeah,
I know.
So it's pretty. It's a whole different.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's another market.
It is.
You know, it's another market for people to really get into because, you know, a lot of seniors have money.
They do.
They have money and they want to buy a house, but they don't want to have a mortgage, and they don't realize that they could do that.
Yeah,
they don't know. We need to get that out there, folks.
Yeah, because they have no idea, you know, that they can actually buy a house on a reverse.
Buy a house on a reverse, yeah.
And have no mortgage. Just pay your taxes and your insurance every month.
That's all they want. They want to downsize. They want to not pay a mortgage.
Exactly.
And
sell their big house, get a little smaller house, and have no mortgage.
They love their HOA fees because they just want to have everything done for them as they should.
As they should,
At an older age, you can't be shoveling snow as much as you used to and mowing the lawn.
Or even younger age.
Yeah, it's true.
On a weekend, you know, if I shovel like maybe 3-4 times a year, let's say, or as many times as a snowstorm, let's say hypothetically.
Right. Yeah.
After the first time I shovel, my back is done.
Yeah.
I know. It's a workout.
It's a workout. And I go to the gym
what kind of shape you're in.
Yeah.
Listen, I do all kinds of training, and I gotta tell you, I shovel one day. It doesn't even have to be a lot of snow. I just have to go like this and go like that, and I'm just the next day I'm feeling it.
I know.
Yeah.
So.
I know.
It's not good.
HOA's around the corner for me.
No, seriously. But I mean, that's what I'm finding. Just me personally, I feel like the majority of the buyers right now are millennial first-time home buyers.
So they're all gung-ho
And seniors who are, seniors who want to downsize and get into something smaller and, has maintenance for them.
Exactly.
Do you guys ever see Minions? Right? You've ever seen the Minions?
Of course.
Light bulb. This is the last episode of the day, so we're now we're like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, we're like
You had what, 3 cups of coffee so far?
Yeah, this is definitely my third cup.
Yeah, this is my second cup.
Next time we should number them. 1,
yes,
2.
But we did say before it's going to be our last cup.
Yeah, this is
and
last.
now we're at
baby, little by little. I want to ask you something else. Like, prior to getting into this business, what were you doing?
So I actually was an operational manager at New York Sports Club. If you guys have ever heard of those gyms.
Yeah, I used to own New York Sports Club back in the 2000s.
Yeah,
right?
It used to be 90s, a very big, popular gym.
The best.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So I handled, all of the profits and losses, the payroll, the management, the memberships. We basically ran it as if it was our own business. And I loved the business and the sales end, and I loved helping people, but you're not really helping them with something that's so important.
Right.
I've always loved houses. I've always loved real estate. It was something I knew I wanted to get into eventually. And after 10 to 12 years in the managerial corporate business, I just wanted to get out of there and do real estate. And so far, it's really paying off.
Good for you.
Yeah, those are really good skills to have in this business.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of it is just knowing how to speak to people, knowing your information. People love to say fake it till you make it. With real estate, you really can't.
Right.
You have to know your comps. You have to know the market data. You need to know if it's a good school district or not, because this is what people are asking about. And they're going to you assuming that you know all of these things and you're going to advise them the right way. Right. So I like to make sure that I really, check all my boxes before I bring a client to a house. I never bring them somewhere without finding out first, are there any offers on it?
Right.
when are you looking to accept an offer? What terms is the seller looking for? You just want to do whatever you can to put the buyer at the best interest.
Right.
Put them in the best position to get that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
tough
same on the
today.
seller's end. You know, it's so easy to just say, oh yeah, everything's going overpriced right now. And it is. Most things are going for over ask, but not if you don't sell it the right way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It doesn't just happen. There really are things you have to do. Actually, if you want to hear a crazy story, very quick, I'll make it a small one. I had a listing. It was an estate sale. So it was vacant for 2.5 years. The people who lived there passed away 2.5 years ago. The trustees who now own the home lived in Jersey. They had never seen the home before. They called me from Jersey. They said, we've never seen this house. Just please sell it for us. We got to get rid of it. I said, okay, no problem. I went to the house. And again, it was vacant for 2.5 years. There was furniture all over the floor, mess, dead mice.
Ouch.
It was crazy. I had to hire a junk removal company, a cleaning company. We got everything cleaned out, got professional photos taken. You would have never known that it looked the way it did. And it sold for $15,000 over asking.
Wow.
And the house, by the way, was built in 1909. So it wasn't like a new, beautiful house by any means. It definitely needed work. We sold it as is. So, you know, inspection didn't matter. Appraisal didn't really matter.
Right.
And I mean, we still got it done. So
That's great.
you have to just put the effort into it and know what
do.
you're doing and market it the right way.
You really do. I mean, I have a house around my neighborhood that same thing, you know, the house was sitting and it was just horrible. It was like one of those eyesores, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see people fixing it. And you're like, everybody in the neighborhood is like, oh, finally, you know, it's being, you know, somebody bought it. And then it went up for sale. So now it went up for sale, but, you know, they had an open house. They did a nice job on the house, but the, you know, surrounding area of the house was dirty still. And, you know, you have this, you know, the value is very high on this house, but
Right.
they didn't stage it. They didn't, I mean, they didn't get an offer. And it's, in this market, is just,
It's still there.
it's still there.
It's such a red flag.
It's such a red
you
flag.
know,
It's crazy, but like, you know, the ground is dirt. You know, they
It's just not
didn't. There's
presentable. There's
nothing.
yeah.
There's no curb appeal. You know, I wouldn't even want to see this house.
No.
Wow.
You know, and
No.
it's a shame. You know, it's by the
It
water.
is.
You know, and it could be a beautiful home.
Wow.
But you know, unfortunately, the
Nobody's
realtor
put the
is
work
just
behind,
not
yeah.
marketing it right. You know,
We
just
should
call
Yeah,
Call the
seriously.
owner.
Seriously. Oh, they need a new real estate agent.
They really do.
Yeah.
It's really
Seriously.
a shame. Yeah, you know, it's funny because everybody in the neighborhood, you know, everybody's like calling me like Kim,
Hey,
you know.
grab it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Kim's a real estate agent too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you know, it's just crazy.
But
you
we
know?
really
I know.
we do mortgages.
Yeah.
99% of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just sitting there now.
And you must hate it if you live around the block. Like I know there are a very small handful of houses within like my 3-block
Right,
radius
yeah.
that definitely need updating. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
I hope that they update it and they sell these houses within 10 years before I sell my house.
Exactly.
So that my house goes up in
My
value.
husband keeps
Yeah.
saying it like, Kim, I really hope that house goes, you know, high. you know?
Yeah, because it's only going to increase the value
Oh, yeah.
of your house
Exactly.
down the road.
Exactly. But, you know, we need to change the realtor.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
sounds
God.
that way.
yeah. It's,
Yeah, I mean, you never want a house, especially now, that's sitting on the market for like really more than like 3 weeks.
Right?
Like right
Wow.
now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but it's funny because this morning we did hear, you know, because I live very close to this house. I'm not going to say where it is, but you know, we heard people outside, you know, doing work to it.
okay.
So I was like, all right, maybe
you're
they're
like, thank
cleaning
God.
it, you know, because
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
didn't realize it's not moving.
how do you not? You pass it, it's like it still looks disgusting.
That's weird.
You know what I mean? But they like fix. It's a big property, but the house they sided it, and you know, like the whole inside is brand new, but
Yeah.
you would pass this house like no.
And it's been on the market for how long now, roughly?
About 3 weeks, almost a month.
Okay.
It's, you know,
It'll be
it's
like that for a
time
little bit if
to.
it doesn't.
It will sell. I don't know if it's overpriced. I don't know what it's listed for compared to, the other.
It's a little overpriced.
Which,
Definitely overpriced.
That's the other thing. A lot of sellers will say to you, I want to list my house for more than you think it's worth because I know that it's going to go for over. And that is the best way to make it sell for under asking.
Right, because you get less.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the comps don't lie, and the buyers really determine the market price.
Right.
Your house is worth whatever a buyer is willing to pay for it. You can't just price your house
just because you love it.
Yeah, exactly.
You love it, right?
It's your home. So, of course, you're going to love it. It's sentimental to you. But, unfortunately, the market is the market.
I know. We get a lot of sellers like that, that they're just, like you said, so sentimental and emotional about their home, and they do not realize it's not worth what they think it is a lot of the time.
It's hard to, deal with a client like that.
You have to just give them the data, and that's why I'm such a numbers person, because the numbers don't lie. I can tell them, well, based on this and that, it's worth this much. Yeah. When I actually show them the market data, it doesn't lie. They can't say to me, no, it's worth more. No, it's not.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, I did an open house last weekend, and they already have an accepted. They already had an accepted offer for I think it was like $680. And a buyer came in and he's saying, "Hey, I deserve fair pricing, this and that." I'm like, "That's fine. I mean, it started fair. It started fair at like 500 or whatever the case was, but now there's people bidding. It's not like the agent is trying to give you the house for overpriced. It's already there's an accepted offer, and I know they're coming in. Oh, we don't know if there's an accepted offer. That now nobody really knows the truth, per se. And he was under the impression that he could get the house at 500, and that we were just BSing him about the accepted offer. I think the accepted offer originally was 625. They did another open house, and then they got even higher. So this guy's coming at 500,
what happens,
and they got 680. They went from like 630 to like 680. They had a big jump.
They really wanted that house.
It's a house. It's a good house. It could be. It has a lot of rooms. It's got a lot of rooms, and it's good investment.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
That's a big thing too. People look at houses. I always say you should never buy the best house on the block.
Right.
You don't want to necessarily buy the worst house on the block, but you want to buy a house where there is room for improvement, because it's only going to gain appreciation the more you do to it and over time. You
don't want to be that white elephant that stands out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because
unfortunately, it's very hard to get a comp for that house. If you're like that huge house in the neighborhood, and unfortunately, you spent a lot of money on that house, and you now try to get a comp for it. It's tough.
It's a whole different,
It's a whole different.
I had a builder build a new construction in Dix Hills, and it was worth probably 1.7, 1.6. But with the amount that he spent building it and putting into it, he wanted to list it for 2.2 million. And I explained to him, I met with him, and I'm not one of those agents that's just going to say what you want to hear and make you happy. Because again, it's only going to hurt me in the end with my reputation when our deal doesn't go through.
Exactly.
So I said to him, there's no way this is selling for 2.2 million. You'll be lucky if you get 1.7. He hired a different agent. I watched the price drop 4 times. He finally sold it for 1.5.
Oh my gosh! And if he would have went with you 1.7, who knows? It's just the whole. He priced himself out, like he got
right. And the longer the house is on the market, and the more price drops it has, it's just a red flag for the buyer coming into it.
That's right.
It already makes them want to not spend what you're offering, what you're asking for the house. Right, exactly, because they're like, well, it's already dropped this many times.
Yes.
Based on the comps, it's probably not even worth that much.
Yeah.
And
let's wait a little bit longer and they'll drop it again.
Right.
That's what they think.
That's exactly what they think.
It's true. I mean, I had a client that it was a family in Dix Hills. The wife didn't want to sell, but she had to. They were in a situation. And every time I tried to get somebody in there, they didn't want to show the house. She didn't want to show the house. So I kept calling and calling and calling. And then it got to a point where she said, oh, she doesn't like me. So, because I was being a little too pushy for her.
Because you're telling her the real facts instead of what she wants to hear.
What she wants to hear,
And, it was a sad situation because I could have had this house sold. I mean,
Right.
it sat, and I was like, you know what? At this point, I don't even want the listing because
Exactly.
it's just sitting, you know.
Yeah.
And finally, I let them out of contract because I said, "Go ahead." And then a few months later, they decided to put it back up, and then they sold it, and then the seller passed away. Actually,
Oh
right
my
after that,
gosh.
right after.
Wow.
I'm telling you, right after the husband.
Wow.
Yikes. This is not.
No, not
Okay.
the one we just had.
Excuse me.
No, but yeah, it's it's tough when your
is.
seller doesn't want to let you in because you have a husband and a wife, and one wants to sell, the other one doesn't. It's all these situations that people don't.
Well, that's
understands.
exactly it. It's never just smooth and easy,
Right.
right? Even with everything seeming like it's just selling like this, it's never 1, 2, 3 easy peasy. There's
Right.
usually something involved, whether it's emotions or work going into the house or staging.
Anything.
There's things you have to do to really get the job done.
Right.
In fact, I want to say, Jackie, what if people wanted to get a hold of you? Right?
Yes.
And so you can impart your wisdom and your insight in the business.
Yes.
Where can they reach you? What's
I
your
have a
phone number and your-
website.
Yeah. Oh.
So my website has everything. I like telling people to go there just because you get to see the business that I have done. Again, everything just speaks for itself. It's www.jacquelinemoritis.danielgale.com.
Cool.
My phone number is 516-650-6777. Call me, beat me when you got to reach me. I am always open for phone calls. I always say there's no bad time. There's no stupid question. Just give me a call. I have people that call me just, I'm not ready to sell, but I just have a question. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's
Again, we're advisors first. That's how I like to go into it.
beautiful.
Good,
And do you
yeah.
have a social media hashtag?
I do. So my Instagram is like my little mini website. That's where I would like to direct everybody. If you're going to go on social media, it's Jax Moraitis. So it's JAXMORAITIS. That's my Instagram handle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you guys so much for having me.
you're
It was a
welcome.
blast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Yeah.
We got
Nice.
some really good, information from you. Like
Yeah.
really like some
Likewise.
main points things that we haven't heard about.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
yeah.
it's really cool.
That's great.
Thank you so
Jackie.
You're
much.
so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Homeroom Lending Podcast. And that's
thank you.
Jamie, Kim, and Jackie. Thank you for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye, folks.